what I want to do is just a wee bit of reflection on the series that we've been going through Nehemiah. Because I really felt that, and I'm sure Stuart meant this to be that way, you know, when you're preaching about a subject, it's how it's relevant in our own lives. But what I was really struck by through the whole series was the parallel between rebuilding of the wall at Jerusalem and the building of this church, or any church, but in particular, obviously, where heart is with this one here. The church has got a great foundation here, which really been laid by Ron and Kerry. Unfortunately, I'm sorry they're not here again this week. But now I think we're in the time, and whether it's been the waiting bit, Julie, just kind of think that might be the case. It's looking at a time to actually rebuild, because the church frontline was the previous church here that Stuart and Jen took over, was doing well. That kind of dropped back again. And what we're doing here is we're trying to rebuild that back up again, built on a firm foundation. And all you guys, everyone in the room, and others, those that are not here tonight or today, are a real good part of that. But one of the first things, it was amazing how all the people did the work. Can you remember one of the early sessions that spoke about how the goldsmiths to the perfume makers, they all chipped in. And took care of each of their own wee sections. Like, I'll do that bit, I'll do that bit. And a lot of them moved out of their own comfort zone and such like to be able to do that. And it's like that's all taking part in the church, whether it's welcome worship, set up the kids, whatever needs to be done. And it may not be where you think that your strength lies. Now, we've been going to church since 2001. And in that time, not long after we got kind of into church, it was, I want to serve, no matter what it was. I think the first thing I did was an officer in the BB at Pullman Old. But I always wanted to be in the band, because it's the coolest job in the church, and playing bass in the band is even cooler, which I do occasionally get the chance to do. Somebody tell Fiona I said that, drop a wee hint. But I just love getting involved no matter what it is. So when I'm not in the band, I work with Gail and the welcome team, and it's great because you meet everybody, you get a chance to talk to everybody as well, and it just starts to build a kind of a sense of community, I think, and that's what the people had when they were rebuilding the temple. When it comes to what have I got? In chapter 4, it says when it comes to that part on it, a lot of people were reading the Bible and my notes are all over the place here. I don't know what I think I've cut and pasted something that's absolutely totally wrong. Well, we call it a Boris. I've done a Boris. Doctor? Ask the doctor over for tea. Where does that come from? Right, okay, not to worry. Let's wing it as usual. It's saying that Julie hates, but I'm going to wing it. So when they were doing that, there was also groups of people that were coming in and meeting together and building different areas. They were building what they called booths, which in their mind was the houses within the temple, because I had to start from scratch again. And that's kind of what we're doing here. But we need people with the right frame of mind, the right mindset to do that sort of thing. And during that, here's another parallel. There was a lot of eating. Right, what church in Scotland doesn't do a lot of eating, especially this one, when we've got some fantastic bakers and that in it as well. You know, they come along, they meet over food and they talk about things. It's like the meet and greet. If anybody's not been to that, if they're just new at the church, speak to Stuart and Jen, because that's a great time to really get to find out about the foundations of the church and how it's worked. Yeah, their notes are absolutely wrong. Oh, wait, here we go. Yes, chapter 7, it says that the city was large and spacious. And we've got a great space here, right? This is good. It's nice. It's intimate. There's nobody around about that we're bothering or they're bothering us. But we've got space to grow, yeah? And we really, really want to be able to grow. We want it not for, the pleasure of saying we grew a church. It's for the people that are out there in the Stirling area that need to know we're here and need to know that Jesus is here to be able to help them through the struggles. Because let's face it, is there anybody in here today that doesn't have a struggle in life? Right? We've all got something that we're struggling with, whether it's exams coming up, moving into a new part of your career, moving to London for further education. Gracie, we'll be praying for you. No matter what it is, if it's financially the way the cost of living is going just now, we all have a wee bit of an issue, and Jesus can help us with that. He really can. So what we're really looking for is to be able to grow the church, build a church. And I think there's a place in Stirling that's waiting for us. Is that right, Stuart? Yeah. So when we get to the point that we can move away from the hotel, as good as it is, get in our own place, we've got everything central, easier to set up, we'll be able to really encourage people more. Rona, am I getting an amen for you on that one? Yeah, I thought that sounded good. And the other thing, another part in chapter 8, it says that Ezra read from the book of the law of God, making it clear and giving the meaning so that the people could understand what was being read. Yeah? Do we find we get that in here? I think we do, don't we? So another parallel. We've got great people that speak in the church. We've got Stu and Jen. We've got Colin. We've got Stacey and Neander. All these people have all spoken recently. And Artem this morning, Veronica was next to me when I was playing there, and I'm going, I love your husband, he's brilliant, listen to him. It's really great the way that we've got people in here that can get up and help us to understand and bring us close to the Lord. Verse 16, it tells us that people started to build places to live, as I said, booths as they call it. And this is a guide to what we should do. Set the wall on a good foundation, which it has been, and then build from within. Chapter 9 says, to those of Israelite descent, they spent, wait to hear this, a quarter of a day in confessing and worshipping. Now, Andrea's just told us what she's studying just now. I don't know how you get the time to fit all that in there, but because I've tried to read the Bible chronologically, and I started about 4 years ago, and I'm not halfway through yet. It's not easy, but dedicating your time to doing that, I think, is fantastic. And we might not have a quarter of a day to spend in confessing and worshipping to God, but let's have a go. If we can get an eighth, great. If we can work towards it, then fantastic. It goes on to list all the things that God had done for them and how their forefathers became arrogant and stiff-necked, as it said, and did not obey God's command. But God forgave them again and again. He always does. And he will still provide everything, and he did provide everything that they needed, and he forgave them again and again. And as it says in verse 32, God keeps his covenant of love. And I think that's fantastic. We should really hold on to that and be very, very grateful for that. So I believe this is a great example that has been set for us. And are you ready to be a builder? Yeah, we all ready? I am. I'm definitely wanting to be a builder in this church because I'll do whatever my son-in-law asks me to do. I believe that this is a really good example for us. And even if you're stepping outside your comfort zone and doing something that you don't think you can do, give it a go. Help the leaders build this church into what God has planned for it. And see if you didn't like kids, you try it. If it doesn't work, try welcome. If that doesn't work, try set up. Right, because we need as many people as possible to do their own wee bit in there. And it gives you that feeling that you really are part of the church. It's a strange feeling, but that's what it does for me. And I'm sure that'll do what it does that for other folks. So, yeah, bless you all for those who, as Stuart said earlier, are volunteering anyway. You all do a fantastic job. It's great to have you. And just hope that was a wee bit encouraging for others.
Thank you again for listening. We hope it helped and encouraged you. For more information about our church, or if you'd like to know more about the gospel, please visit www.valleychurchscotland.com. Thanks again.